This is Potitoes Gang, and what a time to review a most interesting year, 2018 in review. Gentlemen, what can we focus on or not focus on as the highlights of the year, which very clearly our country acquired a fair amount of notoriety relative to the sustainable development goals of our planet. The year in which the Ford and Melinda Gates Foundation projections suggested that by 2050, Nigeria and Congo Democratic Republic will produce 40% of the world's poorest people. The year in which the Brookings study suggests that Nigeria has overtaken India as the biggest collection of the most miserable people on the planet Earth. The year in which our elections went through primaries and the House of Representatives had a session that suggested that we should not refer to the primaries as such. The year in which. What happened in 2018?
Well, 2018, the econometrists will quickly put the numbers through that it was mixed at best, and a lot of the indices supported the Brookings and the fact that Nigeria is overtaking India as the diplomatic capital of the world. Take the Sustainable Millennium Goals 1 and 2 about no to poverty and zero to hunger. It went really, really, really bad. What are the numbers saying? For instance, oil production relatively stable, especially in the third quarter, but it fell to about $74 per barrel, and it's projected that it will remain that for the rest of the year. In terms of trade, relatively okay. In 2018 to 26%. Headline inflation, 11.2%. Food inflation went to about 13%. Again, in the backdrop of the fact that Central Bank of Nigeria has decided that they were going to support Naira exchange at the detriment of a buoyant oil reserves, which has continued to decline. All in all, it's been fragile.
Foreign reserves.
Foreign reserves, yes. Yeah. Well, in our politics, I think basically we were able to expand the discussion base. We got the not too young to run, and we got the electoral bill put in place, and more people can participate because the amount of money for forms were reduced in relative terms, even though that came at the back of quite a number of undemocratic practices that happened. I also think that in 2018 we finally got around the minimum wage, which we are hearing is being proposed at 30,000 naira, which is about $84 per month, which is gone slightly
forget the dollar
improved.
Side of it, because let's focus on that.
So we have to denominate everything in dollar terms. I think by and large the space is on. We got approval for INEC to start and commence preparations for elections. So I think those are a bit of some of the positive things that happened in 2018.
Yeah. It took you so long to think of the good things, but the bad things. But don't forget the railway that took off Abuja, Kaduna.
Oh, the Itakpe railway, and then the infrastructure. Yes, good.
Itakpe.
Yes. And,
but was it just a test run, or did you start running?
Well, I think to the best, a bit of a test run, and it's gaining a sense of its own. Power grid has moved to about 3.75 megawatt per hour.
The president became stronger this year, after, health-wise. He after the battle with ill health, and he's much stronger. I looked at him the other day. I said, "Is this the same? He looks so strong, so agile, and all that." And the shuttle to UK for medicals is reduced. That's some cheering news. At least he's staying more to do some governance issues. And what has happened? What has
in addition, the Naira, I think, got some traction vis-a-vis the US dollar compared to past years when the Naira was always up and down. Though still on the high side, but it presented a better picture of stability, and that definitely will assist planning of the production side of the economy. And
the diaspora remittances increased, from 18 billion last year to 21 billion.
In 2018 as well. One, I thought the out of recession drama of 2017 will spell some level of caution at the start of the year in terms of government spending and things like that. But I think we opened the year without that reflection. It was business as usual. And if there's any storm in the economy...
Does it suggest that the political class in Nigeria does not have the capacity to learn? Because our country just seems to be going in circles, repeating yesterday's mistakes, and you get a relief, and then you think, okay, we've learned something, we will never go back to these ways. And then the moment there's a little relief, we just right back.
We recorded a technical exit from recession, and one further will have informed better planning on the side of the managers of the economy. But the start of the year did not reflect that.
The way I like to put it is unforced errors. I mean, these were low-hanging fruits that ordinarily you will expect. That if 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 1 should naturally be 5. But in the Nigerian context, it gets into an integer, sometimes it becomes -3. Okay, like Rashid has said, at the backdrop of coming out of recession early in the year, when GDP growth was about 2.1, 2.2, started showing signs of failure. By the second quarter of 2008, 1.5 GDP growth. What is going on? The policy somersault sometimes, and then, the FX exchange management became issues.
Being done from the vice president's office, environment of doing business, and yet actually we dropped 10 places in the ease of doing business
ranking.
Yeah. 12 places. Yeah. With all the work that's been done, you got to ask yourself, what will happen if all that work isn't being done out of the vice president's office the way that it is? But perhaps for me personally,
people are moving to depression.
Perhaps for me, the worst thing from 2018, I spent a lot of time with young people, talking with them, trying to inspire them to do this. 8 of every 10 young Nigerians I meet want to get out of Nigeria. How did we fall to that level? What happened? They're seeing their big bosses leave for Canada. The managers in the banks, in the KPMGs, PwCs, they're all leaving for Canada. So the young ones all want out. What is happening?
Right. In 2017 alone, over 800 medical doctors left. 2017. That number has increased. And they're all heading to, kind of like you rightly said, Prof, anything but Nigeria, anywhere but Nigeria. That's the attitude. Anywhere but Nigeria.
I think the job creation initiative is yet to get a proper fix. And the manufacturing sector that will have provided some relief in terms of job creation opened the year on the platform of very high uncertainty, with signature in Africa on the African continental free trade.
I think we need to talk about how we can fix all these problems of 2018. But let's take a break. Let's go and talk to people on the streets, get how they feel about these things, and when we come back, let's engage with solutions. How do we manage not to repeat the apparent nightmare of 2018.
When the government is saying that way, it will be reduced. We don't want people that are just striving to get there.
We've seen that the country as it stands right now is bastardized. The economy is completely withered. Why? Because I will say it's maladministration, bad management. A lot of things happen. Why? Because maybe the government did not take the right step to ensure that things are supposed to be done the way they should be done. Businesses have crumbled, schools, students crying, strike all over. It does not make sense to young people anymore. So we are saying that the past, we need to reverse to what they need to do as government to ensure that the people observe and experience good governance. It is high time for total emancipation of mental slavery and what we can best describe as pre-colonial maladministrative mentality.
Well, as in Nigeria, I will first thank God for everything because God is our maker and our keeper. Because in a country like this, without God, I wonder where we'll be. So I thank God for keeping us alive. A lot has happened in 2018. We have had negative experiences. We have also had some positive experience. Right from, let's say, the economic wise, we have seen job loss, people losing their jobs. We have seen the rates getting to 10 million people or thereabouts losing their jobs in Nigeria, which is very, very bad for the economy. We have seen the rate of inflation. Price of everything has really gone up, and I don't think there is any good policy on ground to, push on the price effect of goods and services. We're also seeing the interest rates, the increase in interest rates of banks and all that, which is affecting entrepreneurs to access loans to fund their business. The political space has been full of drama, people defecting from one party to the other, and a lot of us, we like it because we really want better Nigeria. We want things to go well, because what we are seeing now is not it's not the democracy we are really clamoring for. So we really want a change.
So this is the pedagogy of the determined. Our teaching approach in CVL is to ask everybody who has come to learn something about leadership to ask themselves what kind of world, what kind of company, what kind of society they'd like to see, and what kind of knowledge will equip them to provide the kind of sacrificial giving of self for the good of others that will lead to the synergy that will enable them get to that destination. So this is the very base model of how we teach leadership at the CVL.
The bane of the crisis in our economy is lack of positive leadership. CVL is working assiduously to impact other stakeholders to ensure that we get the leadership question right.
Leadership affects every aspect of our lives, from our homes to our places of work to our society as a whole.
What is special about CVL Leadership Management Training? Our focus is solely on leadership and how it helps performance. Our unique selling point is based on our teaching method for 3 levels of staff in organizations.
We encourage you to register your employees for one of our training programs today.
We are back. This is Patito's Gang. Well, we've heard from those out there, and we know that we have had a challenge year in 2018. Is there some possibility of reversing the thrust on these booster rockets that are moving us in a direction that our country should really not be traveling? What could be done to not to get to a point where we have an advertisement saying the last fellow to leave Nigeria, please switch off the lights. You know, no, seriously, because the way young people all want to go, we may have to put up an advert.
And there might be none to even switch off the light.
Basically, I think for us to move forward, we have to start making peace with ourselves. It's like the government is at war with the citizens, and citizens are at war with each other, and religious groups are at war, and ethnic groups are at war. So everybody is at war with each other. Even homes are not spared. You know, we need to take an initiative to make peace. Those being incarcerated unlawfully or unlawfully, you know, should be, there should be justice. They should be taken to court and charged, and if they're guilty, they should serve their term. And that's the starting point, because without building that peace, initiating that peace process, it will be difficult to really...
So we should get everybody to say the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi.
Yeah.
Make me an instrument of your peace.
Yeah.
Where there's confusion, let there be calm.
Absolutely.
I'd like to say the SG-17, whereby we should all get together to ensure that the 17 Sustainable Development Goals are put. You just mentioned the rule of law. The institutions must continue to work. We must continue to preach peace.
How do we build institutions? I mean, our institutions are so weak that impunity reigns because our institutions are so weak. Now, again, I'm a student of institutions and economic performance. That's terrain I've done academic work for more than 30 years. And of course, my Bible is poor good old Dougie North, who has gone to wherever people go to when they die. Douglas North, who won the Nobel Prize in economics for the work that he did on institutions, institutional change, and economic performance. His argument, very strong argument, is that institutions evolve. They're not decreed. You can create an institution, central bank, INEC. It's not an institution. It doesn't have FCC. The thing that sets the boundaries for human conduct, which is what leads to lowering uncertainty and growth, those institutions are essentially things that evolve from amongst the citizens who engage. And very critical to this process of civil society helping build institutions is the thing that Jürgen Habermas refers to all the time in the public sphere and modernity, what we are doing right here, the conversation we're having. Why is the conversation in the public sphere in Nigeria so lacking in rigor? Why are people not even paying attention? Because the kinds of things we say on this program every week, in fact, some people don't realize we're still on air.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? Why are people not listening anymore? Why are they just on Facebook insulting each other when we could be engaged in quality conversation that can help us press on the system to have those boundaries to conduct?
Again, lack of knowledge. I think ignorance. Some people will say ignorance is no excuse. I agree. Governance, the governance codes is been subject to discussions quite of late. How many of our corporates are taking interest, are getting into that? That is, that is one. Now, the social safety security net, the Empower, market money and stuff like that, how much more rigorous should we not get into that? Criticize those things that we feel that are not working well, and then take them to the next level.
Actually, because when the stomach is empty, you can't really think. I think majority of the stomachs in Nigeria are
Meaning
empty.
that blood has rushed from the head to the stomach.
Yeah,
for
but
most Nigerians looking for what
to
process.
Yeah, there's nothing to. So it's difficult for people to really think. What the system has succeeded in doing is to focus
But how come
Nigerians.
people fast if they want to think?
Yeah, because it's a different thing.
That's a voluntary.
It's a hunger strike. You know?
And I think the challenge is the long time it has taken for sanity to be established in our environment has brought a form of disconnect between the people and the government. A lot of people have lost confidence that the change can truly come. And because of that, they say they don't want to get involved in what can be termed, quote unquote, meaningless discussion or dialogue. Even to the point of not going to vote.
When we begin to make this a Nigeria-centric thing, I have a little challenge. The kind of poverty, the kind of empty stomach that we are talking about Nigerians having, are we saying people in Ghana, people in Rwanda, as of 1984, people in Ethiopia did not face it? Yet they were able to rise over and above. My point is that we must continue to preach hope. The economic recovery and growth plan budget is common. People should much more rigorously get involved. The small and medium enterprises should be strengthened. The civil service rules and reforms that we are talking about, whereby we are now having Nigerians going to Kigali to go and understudy how they are doing it there, should have been the other way around. We have the technical capacity to do it in Nigeria. Yes, Nigeria can do it. Like the Italians would say, Nigerians farà da sé. Nigerians can do it. We should engage more. We should preach more of the peace. We should establish.
Perhaps it's an appropriate point to celebrate somebody who has preached a lot on this subject. One of the most clear thinking public policy scholars, Tunji Olokba, who's giving his inaugural lecture. Professor Tunji Olokba, yes. So we should celebrate Tunji for the work that he has done through the years, bringing our attention to the way that we could run public bureaucracies. I hope that somehow enough of such conversations will be taking place and that this would lead us to an environment in which people can have hope. Right now, hope is challenged, and when hope is taken away, all is lost. Well, it's time to go. Time is short, but you can follow us on the various social media, the handles, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on and so forth. We'll see you next week.